fighterkitecentral.com again. We're going to talk about splitting bamboo. Well, splitting it from a piece of bamboo that you may have harvested, or an old tiki torch or something like that. And this one happens to have a insect hole here. You can see bamboo is prone to insects, but this is a piece that's typical of many pieces of bamboo you get. It's already partially split naturally through the drying process, and dry bamboo like this is harder to work with, but it's what we got to work with compared to green bamboo. And if you have bamboo near you or in your yard and you want to harvest some, working with it green is much easier than when it's dry and relatively hard like this is. So to split a piece of bamboo, I use a knife that is actually a tool used in window glazing. But any knife that's rigid, got a rigid blade, and the thicker the butt of the blade, the better. This one is about an 1/8 or 3/16 of an inch thick. Well, there's two basic ways to start the split in a bamboo pole, which this is a piece of a pole. First, you should start by having the end that is naturally the up end of the bamboo, and you can tell this by the shape of the nodes, these knots here. They flare in a way that's quite obvious, which is up and down. This one is up this way. You could start you can start the bamboo split with the knife on only one edge of the bamboo if you want to only split that, and that may give you the most control over the splits in general of the bamboo that you're splitting. Or you can split it right across and split both walls of it at the same time, which is what I'm going to do. And when you split bamboo, one of the things that makes it easier is if you split it in the center of the bamboo you're working with. And the reason is that the tension caused on either side of the knife blade will be relatively equal if you're in the center. Otherwise, you may find that the split will be somewhat off and want to travel in some direction other than straight. Now, I position the knife right in the center like this, and I use a hammer, and I just give it a slight tap just to get the knife started. And after that, I simply move the knife, I rotate the knife, and twist it, and slide it down the bamboo. Now, as you split it, you will sometimes find that it'll want to travel in a direction other than straight. And if that's the case, it's probably just the grain of the bamboo. It grew crooked. Well, here we have now two halves of a bamboo stick, or relatively close to halves. And then to continue the process, we do the same thing. We split it about in half. Now this one's already got a split, so I'm going to move it a little bit away from that and just hit this enough to get it started. and then work the knife down. When it comes to the node or the knot in the bamboo, you're going to have to work it a little harder, or maybe even hit it again with a hammer, depending on the piece of bamboo you're working with. And as we get closer and closer to the final size we want, let's say we're going to make a bamboo spine, and again I'm going to use the knife in the center of the bamboo stick that I'm working with, or as close to the center as I can to start it. And I'm just going to tap it, get it started again, do the same thing, split it by wiggling the knife back and forth. Now sometimes the bamboo will want to go towards you or away from you, and I find that by holding the two pieces that are already split at the top, it helps minimize that kind of drifting. So now we have a piece that is like this, and it has a knot in the middle, which I prefer to avoid if I'm using it for a kite, but sometimes you can't. Just get rid of that extra piece there. And this one has a stray piece here, which I'll just put the knife in and split. The nice thing about bamboo when you're splitting it is the knife doesn't have to be particularly sharp. It just has to have enough sharpness to enter the end, and after that it's a matter of your twisting the blade in order to get the bamboo to split. Once it's a piece that's close to what you think you might need, or maybe it's a lot larger like this one is, then I change to a different knife. I use a utility knife, and I whoops, got a little movement here on my computer. Darn. See if I get this thing straightened out. Maybe I ought to split it, huh? Okay, so what I do is use the utility knife to get the split started, and I simply hold the knife. I use a block of wood. I hold the knife so that the tip of the blade is in the center of the skin side of the bamboo, and then I just press down to split it, and then I hold the knife there and push the bamboo through the blade of the knife like this. And again, when you come to the knot or the node of the bamboo, it's going to be more difficult to deal with, but you just have to proceed like you want to win the battle here, and you will. And you just twist the blade and pull it, and you end up with a smaller piece. Now you can also split this is the skin side on this piece. You can also split the area that's behind the skin side, so that you may want to just make it smaller in cross section. You can do the same thing. Just put the knife blade parallel to the skin side, and then push the bamboo through the knife blade, and that will give you a pretty good way of changing the cross section of the bamboo.